I'm glad that everybody could join us this evening. We are starting here with a question that brought us to our project. What does it take to nurture a life of meaning and purpose? That is the central question of the project that was funded by the Lilly Foundation through a grant administered through Louisville Presbyterian Seminary. And over the past year and a half, it's brought us to the centering space that we're launching tonight. Trinity has always been a congregation focused on God's call to us in this time and place. And so this is really deep in our DNA. Through our missions and ministries, we've changed a lot over the years with many different calls and closings of house churches, but we've always emphasized the need for the inward and outward journey. The mission and social activism that we do is fueled by our theological commitments, but it's work that we can't sustain or find full life and expression in unless it's grounded in body and soul, in mind and spirit, in the love of God. We recognize that there are many in our community who are also engaged in this important work, but who also face challenges of burnout and compassion fatigue. And we recognize that many of our neighbors have gifts to share in this work of nourishing mind, body, and spirit. As a church that seeks to be deeply connected to our neighborhood and our community, we saw an opening for hospitality, a way for us to design and host a spirituality hub, to be a resource for contemplation and action, for Trinity, for our community, and beyond. So to that end, we began to make plans together to transform some of our existing space at the church, especially our harbor room, to be used as a physical center. And then, of course, COVID hit. It became apparent to us that the need for this kind of resource and support was even more important than it had been before. And so by shifting this new project to an online space, we found that we would have the potential to serve even more people than we could have here at the church. So tonight we launch our website, which will continue to grow with resources and offerings. And at the same time, we're getting back to the work of revamping and repurposing the space here at the church for a physical centering space to work. We also hope that we can begin to host individuals for scheduled retreats that follow safety precautions that our current circumstances demand. We'll have an opportunity to hear more about that space towards the end, but right now I want to introduce you to Will Elliott. Will moved to Harrisonburg back in March as part of a planned career shift from hospital chaplaincy to web development, and he designed the site that we're about to explore together. His training and chaplaincy experience have been a huge asset in building this site, as he's been able to shape not only the structure, but much of the content as well. So without further ado, I would invite Will to lead us through.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for introducing me. Before I begin, I was just wanting to say what a huge honor it's been, a real privilege to be able to work on this project. I think we're at the very beginning of things, even though you all have been on the journey for a little while. This website is in its earliest stage of evolution. So without further ado, though, I'll show you what we have. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is the home page, and you see the logo, of course, and then we have our navigation menu. I know that the contemplation, action, renewal, expression, the care are central to what this Myrtle group is about. And so each has a dedicated page of resources and information, which we'll navigate to in the near future. These headings here will allow you to link down further in this page. And here we just provide the very briefest of introduction to each category. And really each part of the care is an invitation. to a particular kind of spiritual practice. And again, this is something that can change and evolve. We can, this thing is something that will always be growing. But for now, it's just kind of a brief little invitation of each part of care. And the group, I saw an email from the group where there were some wonderful quotes that I have used here in the site. Thank you for that. Just a warning, I'm going to be asking you all for so much content and information. So just know that's coming. And here at the bottom of the page is our contact form, and that is something that will allow people to subscribe to our mailing list and keep informed on events as they come up. We're going to also add some more navigation features that allow us to more easily move around the page here. But are there any questions about the homepage right now, or any thoughts?
If we're already on the Trinity list, do we need to sign in there at the bottom?
I am.
Yes.
Stephanie, can you do that?
Yes. So we're going to keep the list separate. We anticipate there will be a lot of crossover, but not all crossover. So you can go ahead and put your email in there and get added to that list.
Great.
All right.
Is it live now for signing up?
It is, and we're still working on it being able to automatically populate the email listserv. And so what's happening right now, Will, maybe if you want to put an email address in just to show what that looks like. When you enter your email address at the bottom, it might come up with a red X. And so that's how you know it's working. Yeah. So we'll work on getting that ironed out. But anyway, it is working even though it looks like that. So it's fully functional for that right now.
You want to sign up for it on training. Some problem.
All right. I'll navigate to the contemplation page now. And in addition to the main navigation menu here, we have a sub-menu here which is labeled resources and opportunities to practice. All these will be fleshed out more, I think, as the days, weeks, and months pass. But the contemplation page is a place where folks can learn about different spiritual practices and find different ways to engage the contemplative life. Right now, it's very rudimentary, but we're going to add some more wonderful content. We already have, I think this is really neat, we already have an opportunity to practice contemplation with Jared Featherstone. So that's an event, and you can pretty much click anywhere around here and it will take you to his website, which is where you sign up for this. And I would encourage anyone interested to do that or to share it. But he's been teaching about mindfulness for a while now. And okay. Stephanie, is there anything you would add?
I think Jared right now is hosting the sign up. He's been doing this already on his own website, and so he's going to be doing that. But obviously we're linked to it. I think one of the functional things that we'll want to add is the ability to sign up for events like this or to sign up for things directly on the website. And then there may also be some additional e-commerce if there were courses that we would collect some fees for. We don't anticipate that immediately, but as we look at kind of down the road, what people would want to see and what's financially feasible and sustainable, that might be something to add.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I
So,
think,
Will,
yes, ma'am.
question. Is that under opportunities? Is that a place where we could put the Lectio Divina that is happening on Wednesday and Friday mornings?
Yes, that is absolutely a good place to put it. And that's something I can update the site with very quickly, providing that, because I know we have later, I don't, I haven't showed it to you yet, but we have a calendar of centering space events. And so that's your basic calendar, but I think it would be wise to do as you suggest and to put events as they come up down in the opportunity section. And since you all have been doing the Lectio group for a while, I think it would make good sense to put it in there. So I'll add it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also on the calendar there, if you hover over, the event, it will, or maybe click on it, it will show the Zoom address.
Oh, yeah.
And you can copy it to your own calendar. This is very handy.
How do you copy stuff to your own calendar?
Right.
I don't know.
Because that's one of the things.
There's so when Will, if you want to click on that again, Louisa, I think, is wondering about how to copy it to the calendar. There's actually a button there.
Yeah, you would just click where it says copy to my calendar. So, and so there, oh, sorry, I deleted it. Yeah, so now if I want to, I can save this feature into my Google Calendar, and it will be a resource that will let me know when I, and then there's the Zoom address right there. So that's a convenient tool. But if anyone ever has any questions about that, that's a good question about process and how to navigate the page and get the most out of it. I don't know the best way yet, but we're available to help with that, because I know a lot of this is new, and but yeah, that calendar is very helpful, I think. But certainly on each page, we will list events as they're going.
There may also be some opportunities. We'll have to figure out a balance of redundancy versus keeping things streamlined. So on the contemplation page, the resources list some different practices, which include Lectio Divina and Labyrinth, which both are also practices and opportunities to practice. So they could be listed both at the resource and at the opportunity part. Some of them may also be cross-listed under both contemplation and renewal, or expression and action. So that's something that, could be helpful feedback to know where it's helpful to have that redundancy and where it just complicates things a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah.
Well,
right.
I'm sorry. I have a question here.
Yes, sir.
As I mentioned, I've been in this group, which is actually belongs to Blue Ridge Ministries, I guess, and we do Lectio monthly, third Thursday. To who do I go? I think that would be an appropriate thing to have listed on the calendar or on the resources or opportunities or something. And
Yes,
I
sir.
know to who do we apply to get that group listed on this calendar?
your pastor may be able to speak more to the process that is probably more efficient, but one way or another, I imagine if you provide that information to the church office, um, um, that's something that can get to me or to anyone who's updating the site, and we can put that in there, because I think you're right. That'd be very appropriate to add that resource.
Yeah, if you noticed on the calendar, there was a Gmail address. It was centeringspace@gmail.com. So you could email that. There's also a Centering Space email address with the Trinity Presbyterian, which probably is one of the longest email addresses you'll ever see. It's centering-space@trinitypresbyterianharrisonburg.org. So, but those are two that right now are just forwarding to me. And so once the Myrtle group, once we figure out kind of the best process for that, for adding things, that forwarding may change, or maybe more people have access to log on and do that. But I think we definitely would want to have opportunities like that on the calendar for those in action, and any kind of things that we could use to enhance the calendar and site.
Oh yeah, there can't be enough information and activities. I think the more we add, the richer the site will be. So thank you for suggesting that.
I'll ask Stephanie, do you know Tom Hook? No,
I don't think I do.
Okay. I'll talk to you about him later.
You may need to talk to Tom that way.
Yeah, I know that, but he lives right around the corner from the church, and is very big into spiritual stuff, primarily through Blessed Sacrament, where he's a member.
You know, I actually, as you're filling that out, I do believe that we've met, or I've at least heard about him.
Yeah. Yeah, he would be a good resource for us.
You would.
He's done a lot with Richard Rohr.
A lot.
Oh, yes.
Weekend retreats.
And so has his son Randy too.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we have a glut of resources, and that's a good thing to have. All right, so we're on the action page now, and I didn't do too much with the contemplation page, but I try to put a little introduction and kind of a welcome to action, or welcome to action, renewal, expression, contemplation on each page. And again, just as on the other pages, there's a resources and information part where you can find, and these were resources I found that were submitted by you all as recommendations for the page, and I put those into the site happily. So, for instance, these are things you can read or watch, and this is the Anti-Racism Resources for White People, and it was put together by Sarah Sophie Flicker and Alyssa Klein earlier this year. And of course, anytime you hover over something and it looks like you can click on it, the little hand appears. In this case, it'll take you to that document. So for instance, and here you are, this could almost be the whole page. There are tons of resources like books, podcasts, articles, all kinds of things here. And it opens in another tab, but you're still back on this page. And I just think that's one of the resources I'm really fond of. There's another written piece here. And then there's an animated video that was created and is very helpful. And so there's going to be lots of different ways of relaying information and sort of resources, and I look forward to exploring those myself. And then, of course, the second part of the page really is the activism, the opportunities to serve, and like I said, we're still at the beginning stages of adding some content, but we will be adding content in the future. There's going to be opportunities, even in this COVID reality, maybe especially. On the renewal page, again, it's the same format. And someone recommended Glennon Doyle's book, Untamed. And so I put some information about that. And I think you can, I was going to link it, but I didn't want to just link it to Amazon. I kind of wanted to link it to, I mean, wherever you buy books, you can find this book. And I would rather you do it at a local bookseller. But Amazon's fine too. And so there's some good resources. And again, we have a bit to add to the opportunities. Here's our expression page. And I'm very excited to see what folks come up with and find in terms of ways to practice expression. I love the ideas I saw between the poetry workshops and dramatic engagement with the scriptures, and then soul collage, which I think I'd heard of, but I didn't really know much about. But that was an interesting thing, and I wanted to link to that book. Generally, most things will be linkable. You can click on it and go to it and learn more about it. All right. And then the last page there was the calendar page, which I showed you. But I guess now I would ask it kind of again if there are any thoughts just off the top of your head about what you think this site could use, what is helpful and what's working, and then of course even if there's stuff that you hate about it, I want to hear about that too.
I just want to say it's visually very beautiful, stunning. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really I really appreciate that. We as we add more content, I think I'm going to be insofar as I'm involved, I'm going to be trying to make sure we don't have a massive text. I think that there's a lot of websites that you kind of get lost in just like whole screens full of text, and that can be kind of hard to engage. But thank you.
I think it's really nice too, Will. And what you don't want to lose, I think, is the simplicity of this entrance into it. I mean, the images are wonderful, but you know, you got 6 things to click, and I wouldn't want to. You know, I mean, I've been trying to, what was it, WHOVA or something like that, where I tried to go to a conference on that. It was absolutely impossible to navigate because the important things were in small type and whatever. So this has really got that. And whatever happens after you click is you know, who cares? I mean, you can go into a, you know, Tolstoy or something, but
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet. I'm happy.
I appreciate that.
You mentioned, Will, about, you know, some navigation tools. And I think if you have like your resources and opportunities as links to get you down on that page, so, you know, instead of having to scroll down and then a back to the top link after each one, that would get to be able to move without having to scroll all the time there. Because it could get, with a lot of text or a lot of resources like the ones on racism, you know, it takes a lot to get down to the bottom.
Yeah, I know you're liable to get carpal tunnel just scrolling down that page. Uh, no, I think that's very good feedback, and that my intention is to. That was something that I talked to Stephanie about earlier. Was just when I was showing her the site, that it would be very, very helpful to have it's kind of navigation points where you can go up and down. And I'm still trying to figure good places to put some of these, because I do have these so that they'll navigate, but sometimes they don't go far enough, or that one goes a little too far. You're not sure what section you're in. And then this one will take you all the way down to that. But I'm still tweaking it so it will look and feel natural. And I do need to put, I'm thinking in each section, it might be a good idea to have little subtle indicators of the ability to navigate back up to the top of the page. Sometimes you just want to get back up to the top and go someplace else.
I'd like to suggest one step up on the size of the font.
Mm-hmm. Are you particularly, like, for instance, here?
Like under expression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can try to find ways to make that a little more readable. I think that's
it's possible, but it's a strain.
Yeah, we don't want it to be a strain. That defeats the point of a spiritual practices website if you're leave with a headache. So, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I like Stephanie was saying earlier, I think that there will come a time when it will be wonderful to add online scheduling kind of forms. So, for instance, nowadays, and I love this, because I hate talking on the phone. I can't hear too well. And so, for instance, I love being able to go to my doctor's website and schedule an appointment with my provider. And it's, they send me an email reminding me. So it helps keep me organized. And I wanted to make this site easy for that too, because I think we're going to have a lot of content. But as Mark was saying, we don't want to lose the simplicity of it. We want it to just all feel very, very manageable and easy to move around and easy to do what you want to do.
Have you all thought at all about, I'm assuming that you want to maintain a certain quality of the resources and opportunities that to practice that you're offering. Have you thought of how you're going to control that, how people will submit an idea and who would vet that?
I think that might be an ongoing conversation, because ultimately I think this probably should rest in the hands of the Myrtle group in terms of what is appropriate. I know that from what I understand, the intention will be to continually update the site. Take down things events that have passed, and maybe anything that becomes obsolete. But yeah, I'm not sure. Stephanie may have a better sense of how you all will kind of be the clearinghouse for content.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something for us to think about and talk about as a Marks group. I have to commend Will for taking a Google Doc that had a lot of notes, but not much flesh, and really fleshing it out to what you see. And it's one of the benefits of having not a retired chaplain, someone moving out of chaplaincy. So I think, yeah, certainly the quality and the content is something that we'll need to keep an eye on. I did post in the chat the 2 email addresses that, like I said, right now they're going to me, but once Myrtle Marks Group has the opportunity to talk about what that process might look like in terms of adding content, gathering content, putting it on the website, then we'll maybe farm that out a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions on the website or comments? I think you can also use those email addresses if you do have suggestions for content, design, calendar items, any of those things. And we can make sure that they get to Will or wherever the appropriate place is. So our hope is that this is going to be a resource someone could go and they could learn about centering prayer. And then as we have things that we can also offer and schedule, that they could find out about those opportunities and sign up to participate. But, you know, it could be something that even just by visiting the website, you're able to come away with a better understanding and ability to practice some of these disciplines, maybe kickstart a little bit of thinking of newer ones that you haven't tried. And then also a way to showcase content as we have it. I mentioned that we have a wealth of resources in our neighborhood. Jared Featherstone lives here and he's doing the meditation class. You're just mentioning Tom Hook. And I know a lot of you right around the corner can name, I think, half a dozen others at least, who would have things that could be offered, including people that are here on this call. So we also would love volunteers. If anybody wants to volunteer to lead content or put something together, or if you have ideas of people that we might approach, that would be helpful as well. So that's the website. I think as we were coming around and really pivoting hard from the in-person space to the online space, there's some real benefits to being online. I think we'll be able to be a lot more accessible to a lot more people. And of course, you don't have to be here in Harrisonburg to take advantage of any of this. Also, having it start not at a church building, I think will make it more accessible to people who may have some distrust of church or organized religion in general, but may find that these are really helpful resources to them as well. Sally had mentioned early on in some of our conversations about the potential for interfaith faith community around spiritual practices, which I think is a really neat possibility as well. And then at the same time, we have all of this stuff happening around the church. Everything really feels like the Spirit's just continuing to swirl and move and surprising us at every turn. But we have been taking advantage of opportunities to work in the space upstairs. So Mary Lou, I don't know if you want to say anything about the physical space. It would be great if you wanted to.
She's still muted.
Yeah, if Stephanie can pull up the PowerPoint that Teresa has put together, that would be great. I don't know what happened to my...
I think I can do that here.
So while she's doing that, Teresa and I have been doing some research both around town and online to try to find appropriate furniture to transform the harbor room into a centering space. So this is just the beginning of what we're thinking. So this tapestry is what we have purchased, and it will actually hang on the wall to the right as you enter the room. So it'll be kind of our focal point and our color splash. And then this coffee table and end tables will go in front of the sofa. And then this is a swivel rocker that will be upholstered in this green fabric and will be sitting right there in front of the tapestry. It's a really comfy chair.
I should also say that you can't tell from the picture with the brown couch, but the room was just repainted, and it's a really lovely, very peaceful, calming color that looks blue and light blue in some lights and green in some lights.
Yeah. So this is a recliner that will be in that upper space, the upper seating space, and you can't really tell in this fabric, but it has just a hint of that greenish blue that the walls are. So sitting up there in that space, it really kind of makes that pop. And then this is an end table that we're looking at to go next to that chair. And then this, we're taking out the big refrigerator. We're taking out the little oven and planning to put a small under the counter refrigerator where the oven has been. And so then this little cart will kind of be a divider between that kitchen space and the sitting space, but will give us a place to store some things. We'll also put new countertops. We'll paint the cabinets white, the outside of them, put new hardware on them, and a new faucet on the sink to kind of freshen up the kitchen area. And then this is a drop leaf table that will sit just as you come in the door, and will be in its console stage until we need it to be larger. And then these are folding chairs that we'll get 4 of to be around the table. And then at the top of the landing, as you're coming up the steps, we would have 2 of these chairs and a table between them and a couple of really nice plants out there, probably an area rug, so that that becomes a welcoming space.
That's it.
Yeah.
We also have started the process of cleaning out almost everything upstairs. And Frances Sale deserves more credit than I can give her for her organizing, and she's getting it done.
She's a mover and a shaker.
Yes, she is. So everything that's up there, the rooms that are across from the harbor room that are part of the original house building, obviously are going to have some beautiful hardwood underneath the carpet that's in really bad shape. There are some very interesting and bright paint colors up there that I think could stand to be updated a little bit. And then our hope is to really freshen up that space, clean it out, and make it space that's very usable and very versatile. So it could be used for a yoga class. It could be used for a centering prayer time. It could be used for a meeting of some sort. So I think that there are lots of different ways that space can be used, especially as when we're able to have more people up there. we've also talked about having more connectivity up there so that we may be able to have somebody who could actually record or Zoom from there if they wanted to lead a yoga class or a meditation class or something like that. And as we're able to have a few more people together inside a building, maybe we could have space for a couple of people to be there and others could Zoom in from home. But it is exciting to think about possibilities of getting to use some of these spaces for hospitality and spirituality, even probably long before we're able to have groups back in the space again, because it would be relatively easy for us to schedule individuals for a retreat and facilitate it such that we could do sanitizing in between.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
And I muted or took the video off so I can make some muffins while I listened. If there, by any chance, there's any furniture that needs to have a home, I might be able to help you out. So just let me know.
We have a lot of furniture that is going to be rehoused. A lot of what's up there isn't in any kind of good shape, but there are some pieces that are good. So we are going to have, we're in the process of taking stuff down to the commons that can be sorted through. And then the plan is to have someone from Gift and Thrift to come and see if there are pieces. But if you know of particular needs or places where we might be able to take something, I think, you know, there's certainly opportunity for that.
Yeah, I would like to offer that maybe before it going to some of the things before they go to Gift and Thrift, if I could. But I can talk with you later.
Yeah, if you specifically would be great. I think the hope is to get it all cleared out. We're going to have to hire some movers to come and move a lot of the big heavy stuff, especially from upstairs. And so we'll need to know what might go where. But you're welcome to talk. I mean, we talked about even putting some stuff outside and just kind of putting it on the buy nothing or, you know, free for all. But we didn't want to worry about weather. We didn't want to worry about having stuff stay out there. And so we figured the best use of resources would be through Gift and Thrift, where it can at least also go to support a good mission.
Right. And I'll just tell you, it's Vine and Fig that is looking for a couple things that Tom told me specifically, but having been in that house on the first floor, they could use some better chairs. I mean, their chairs should be going to the trash, in my opinion. But I think that's just part of their model, that they really are frugal. And another thought, Gemeinschaft are known, I don't know if this is still current, but they can move furniture, and as long as somebody goes to get them, and they, you know, have a place to move it to, or a truck or something. If we provide the truck, they can provide the movers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, unless it's stopped, they've been doing that for years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they understand that part of rehabilitation is, you know, helping out in the community, and plus it's something for them to do.
Yeah. Thank you. That's good. That's a good word.
Thank you.
Ellie, I would suggest that you go by the church house as early as possible and see if there's anything there.
Do you mean it's already in the commons?
I don't know. I don't think the big stuff is still upstairs. But
yeah,
check.
Unless someone's there, I won't know what.
Most
What's
of it, most of it's marked with a blue painter's tape X.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Um,
how about this? Can I invite Tom over and have him look? Tom Benevito?
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
Okay.
The gift and thrift folks are scheduled to come out first thing Monday morning, I think, to take a look, and that would be that's hopefully our
First.
final moving plan. If we can, if there are other places to take out before that, that would be
What date was that, Stephanie? I missed it.
Monday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Francis is getting things done very quickly. It's
Yeah.
really impressive.
She's got to be in her bonnet. That's
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? Oh, and Hope Distributed, I see, Virginia. I don't know if anyone talked to Hope Distributed. I think we've been in touch with Gift and Thrift and Mercy House. And so I think some of what Gift and Thrift doesn't take, Mercy House might take. But I think Frances has been in touch, so I'll double check with her on that.
Yeah, I know that Mercy House will pick up, or at least they used to, because they picked up from us.
Yeah, and Gift and Thrift will pick up as well, but they can't move anything downstairs. It needs to be in the parking lot already. And if you haven't been up and down those stairs in a while, and you haven't imagined carrying a refrigerator up and down those stairs, Mark is pointing at himself. Yes, Mark carried a lovely sofa from his mom a few months ago over to my basement. So it's our family movie night place. It's wonderful. He also said that was the last time he was moving it. So
I also suggested in an email tonight about the desks that's in the clothes closet laundry room. So we have no need for that anymore. And so it either needs to go to a good home or be trashed, one or the other.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
about all those computer monitors and what have you? And
they're gone.
they're good.
Yeah, we've been checking with all the appropriate people in terms of who needs to sign off on what we need to keep and what's not worth keeping. And so all of the computer stuff has already been taken, recycled.
Yay.
Any other questions or comments? We haven't, we've talked about, but we haven't talked about yet how exactly we're going to close. But I do imagine we will be recalling, at least as a Marks group, in a couple of, next month. So there's certainly more opportunities to get involved in the creation of all of this as well.
I also wanted to add, I put it in the chat, but I was going to just invite everyone to explore the website as you have time and the inclination, and just to poke around and explore and see how it feels for you. I know we've kind of taken the whirlwind tour tonight. We're going to continue to make changes, but if you are there and something isn't working the way it's supposed to, or maybe even not just working the way you want it to, then certainly you can email Centering Space at trinitypresbyterianharrisonburg.org, and that information will get to us. So we want to give you the best site possible.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else for any questions or suggestions, if you go over to the Centering Space website and put in your email, you can keep updated on what's going on. And I'm sorry, I was just typing a note. If Will just said that, I apologize. But we do really thank you for taking time tonight to come out and hear more about what's happening, and hope that you will be inspired to take part in one way or another, either through some of the offerings or by getting more involved with some of the content creation and visioning for what's to come. So thank you all very much, and I will end our recording now.